Okay, our last operation with rational expressions is subtracting rational expressions. And just like adding rationals, subtracting rationals also need common denominators. So in example 4, x plus 2 over 2x minus 2 minus negative, careful with the double negatives there, 2x minus 1 over x squared minus 4x plus 3. I don't have common denominators. I need to factor, just like in our previous examples. So the numerator is already factored. The denominator I can factor out a 2 for the first expression. The numerator is already factored. The denominator, two numbers that multiply to 3 and add up to negative 4 would be negative 3 and negative 1. So I see some factor that's in common, x minus 1, so I can leave that alone in the denominator. The second expression is missing the factor, or the constant, 2. So I need to multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2. For the first expression, I have a 2, so those match now. I have an x minus 1, that matches. I'm missing x minus 3. So that's the factor that I multiply the first expression by. So I have x minus 3 times x plus 2 over 2 times x minus 1 times x minus 3 minus, I'm going to distribute the 2 here, negative 4x minus 2 over the common denominator, 2 times x minus 1 times x minus 3. Doesn't matter which order you put the factors in the denominator, but typically we'll put the constant, if there is one, before any of the factors. So now I can subtract because I have common denominators. And in order to do that, I'm going to distribute just like I did in the previous problems. This just has binomial to distribute. So x squared plus 2x minus 3x is negative 1x minus 6 minus, and I'm going to put this in parentheses. Anytime you're subtracting a whole binomial expression, I put parentheses around it to remember to subtract both terms in that binomial. All over my common denominator, 2 times x minus 1 times x minus 3. Remember, the common denominator stays common. So I'm going to continue by simplifying. So I have x squared, nothing combines with that, negative x minus negative 4x. Negative x minus negative 4x is the same as negative 1x plus 4, so plus 3x. And then negative 6 minus negative 2 is the same as negative 6 plus 2. All over my common denominator. And I'm going to factor. Numerator, two numbers that multiply to negative 4 and add up to 3, x plus 4, x minus 1, all over my common denominator. And x minus 1 over x minus 1 simplifies to 1, so my final answer is x plus 4 over 2 times x minus 3. Don't forget your constant. That's a common mistake for students to forget their constants. Last example. Example 5. X squared plus 3x plus 4 over x plus 3. And we're simplifying this. Minus x plus 2. So if I don't have a denominator, think back to the multiplying and dividing we did yesterday. That's the same as having a denominator of 1. So I'll write that in for my first step. If there isn't a denominator, make it 1. Now I need common denominators. I have x plus 3 for my first expression and just 1. So in order to get 1 to have a common denominator, I'm going to multiply by x plus 3 for that second expression, which gives me the same expression for the first, minus, I'm going to distribute here, double distribute, so x squared plus 3x plus 2x plus 6 over x plus 3. So now I have common denominators. I add or subtract my numerators, and because I'm subtracting, I'm going to put parentheses around the whole expression that I'm subtracting, so I make sure to subtract every single term. X squared minus x squared is 0. 3x minus 5x is negative 2x. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. All over my common denominator, x plus 3. So that's simplified. Now I'm going to factor out the negative 2. Leaves me negative 2 times x plus 1 over x plus 3. Nothing cancels. So that's fully simplified for my answer. Again, if you have any questions, ask your classmates, find a video online, or feel free to send me a remind. Happy Wednesday!